Peter Harckham is the majority leader of the County Board of Legislators. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am hanging in there. Thank you very much. It's a little sloppy, a little ugly out there this morning. Going to be cold and raw today.
Well, maybe if we all wear our Bermuda shorts to work, we can kind of will spring along a little quicker.
The power of positive thinking.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. You sound like a Democrat. Okay. Anyway.
I sound like an American.
I'm kidding. I don't even know what that meant.
That's not a partisan value. That's an American value. Warm weather, positive thoughts.
Oh, you're a funny guy. Anyway, well, if you had said Bermuda shorts and sandals, then you would have totally sounded like it. Anyway, good morning there, Mr. Harckham. Welcome back to the show. What is actually happening? You're the first guest from the Board of Legislators this week. So what's happening? You get to pull the curtain back on what's going on with the board this week.
Well, our budget department pulled together some numbers at the end of last week that actually have to deal with poverty in Westchester, and it's not something that folks necessarily like to talk about. We like to think of Westchester as a prosperous and a booming place, and in many ways it is. But on the other hand, homeless families are up 40% in Westchester. Our SNAP program, formerly the food stamp program, is up 53% in Westchester County. So these are kind of eye-opening numbers, and we're seeing these things happen around the country, not just in Westchester. So, it's time that we have a dialogue about what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and how we can get folks back to work, back in their homes, and back to being contributing members to society again, because, people don't want to be on assistance. They want to be working and contributing.
Yeah, so what do you think that says? What does that snapshot tell you about the state of affairs locally, statewide, nationally? We keep hearing that because Wall Street is doing gangbusters and setting records that we're recovering. If not, actually, what did the president say in the State of the Union, that the rubble has been cleared? Doesn't sound that way, does it?
Well, I think it's because there are a couple reasons. One, I think the middle class is still hurting. If you talk to the union folks in the construction trades, there's 35 to 40% unemployment here in Westchester and the Hudson Valley with those good folks. Right. So on the macro level, there's still the residual tsunami of the recession. And partially here in Westchester and at the state level and around the country, we've been cutting some of the supports that help low-income families stay working, things like child care assistance, because we know and we have experience both in Westchester and nationally that when people are on the cusp, they have to make a tough decision. Do they keep working and contributing, or if they can't afford quality child care, they often go on much more expensive back-end services. Right. And that begs the conversation and a very fair one about the role of government. Should government be providing child care stipends to people? And that's something that people can debate and should be debated. But on the tax perspective, smaller investments to keep kids in child care, to keep their parents working, save taxpayers a great deal of money on the back end on things like welfare, shelter costs, and food stamps, for instance. So, where is the balance? And, go ahead.
Okay. So, it's one thing. So we have the hardworking blue collar, and what about the small business owner? What about the people who are the employers? Right now we're hearing about a minimum wage increase. It doesn't sound like that's going to do much to bolster job creation in the county.
Well, it's a mixed bag, because on the other hand, it costs roughly about $40,000 to provide for basic necessities for a family, and current minimum wage provides about $20,000 a year in annual salary. Right. So, I think it's got to be both. I think we need to have a balancing act. We do need to raise the minimum wage, but I think...
Well, because there are small business owners who are going without their own salary to pay people.
Oh, absolutely.
And also have to deal with
onerous
state regulations, the coming superstorm that is Obamacare, the regulations that are going to be foisted upon small. And I bring up small businesses because you know what, they really are the backbone. They are it's the small business entrepreneur risk taker who will be that part of that equation that pulls America out of this abyss. And I think politicians have a habit of just sort of doing it. Well, you know what, it stinks, but you know what, we'll just do it. We're here in this chamber. We'll pass the law. We'll raise our hand. And we'll just do it, and they'll have to. And nobody seems to take into account that small business owner who's up till 4 in the morning, 5 nights a week, stressing out, looking at their own baby and worrying about how their employee is going to feed their baby, and so on and so on. It's real personal.
Right, and that's a fair point, and that's why whatever the state does or whatever the federal government needs to be a balanced approach.
And the county and the state and the city and the local, you're just as much a part of it.
Absolutely, and that's why we've been very serious about responsibly reducing the size and cost of county government. Mm-hmm. It's just within the lines of our current budget. Are we allocating resources properly? Right. Our workforce is down about 18% from where it was a couple years ago, but we still have a $1.7 billion budget. So, what are we doing within those lines to make appropriate investments to help keep folks working within the bailiwick of what county government can control? And
finally, Pete Harckham, and again, thank you for your time. You answer all the questions. It's 7:28. It's 33 degrees outside. We're talking to Pete Harckham, Katona Lewisboro representative on the County Board of Legislators. He is the majority leader. You mentioned I do the reset and I always lose my train of thought. But you mentioned the small investments. Are you saying that that you're hoping to be able to shuffle monies, or when you say small investments, are you talking about potentially the specter of needing to, as much as you wouldn't like to, need to raise taxes somewhere along the line?
No, I think, currently, we're looking in the range of $5-10 million of programs that we've historically funded, things like low-income child care. That the parent share has gone up 164% since 2009, and certainly their incomes have not gone up that much. So that was about a $3 million cut this year, a $4 million cut. So, there are certainly things within the lines we can do this year to bring assistance to folks without, saying let's go back to the days of 5, 6, 7% tax increases.
Right.
It's really what are our priorities within the current lines.
Yeah. All right. As long as we do not lose sight of the risk takers, the people that actually cut checks and a lot of times go without for their own families to provide for their employers, those are the people that get lost in the shuffle. It's the dry cleaner, the pizza guy, the company that cleans offices, et cetera, et cetera. There are real human beings who own those small businesses of under 50 employees, and God forbid they hire one that puts them over that mark. They may have to shut down thanks to the role of government. Anyway, but please keep those people in mind there, Mr. Harckham. They are the lifeblood of this county.
Well said.
All right, sir. I wish you the very best. Be safe today as you travel around.
Thank you. Have a great week yourself.
All the very best. Bye, Pete Harckham. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.